I would say our global acceptance rate is somewhere between 10 and 30%, depending. What it depends on is really the quality of the applicants, not so much. And we have a threshold based on the predictive score that comes out of the test, right? So there's a minimum threshold worldwide. And then you provide 2 written answers. So really we factor 3 things in. The test, right? That's big. That's about half. Your written answers and your background in bio is the other half.
Got it. What's interesting about that is if you look at a program like LAUNCH Incubator or Y Combinator, acceptance rate 1%, other incubators might be 5%. It's actually a very realistic thing to work on your career and get accepted to the Founders Institute and then form a company, maybe raise $25K or just get the prototype done and then apply to those other places. You see a lot of that, don't you?
Yeah, I would say that right now that's increasing. So in the past, it was about 7% of our grads went into LAUNCH Incubator or similar type programs.
RushTix was one.
Yeah. Now
Jill
it's
from RushTix.
increasing. I would expect to see more like 15%. There's a couple of reasons for that. There's more programs out there that are good.
Yep.
And you know, we're very early. Like there once was a time where a program like LAUNCH and the Founder Institute maybe even overlapped or touched side by side, but you've been moving later and later, and we haven't really changed where we are.
Right, so there's a gap. We're actually starting to get 500 startup companies go from 500 to LAUNCH Incubator because we've sort of, by only doing 7 and they do, I guess, whatever.
40
per, that's here, and then they have other locations around the world, so I don't know how many they're graduating per year, but hundreds.
Yeah.
And we're only going to graduate dozens. So it is kind of like a funnel, I think. And we've had 3 of our companies go to Y Combinator. So there does seem to be a nice, well, they're mostly from the hackathon, though. So let's talk a little bit about Expansive Ventures. I know there was a big announcement that you raised a fund.
Yep.
And then the fund, I think, was disbanded, or there was some disagreement between you and John Soberg, who was your partner on it. What's the latest on that? Can you talk about it? I know there's been some rumors about you guys having a falling out.
Yeah, so, you know, look, no matter how successful you get as an entrepreneur, it's hard every time, right? And I took a hard lesson with Expansive Ventures, I gotta tell you, because I've been a huge pundit on venture capital for years, right? And, you know, I kind of came in like a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed venture investor, like, all right, we're going to have a big impact on the venture capital world. And I've been, you know, beaten up pretty hard in the process. You know, I learned hard lessons on the other side of the table, being an investor, been an entrepreneur all my life. And then, you know, I ran into problems with my partner because we didn't share the same vision about the future of the firm. And that happens, right? You know, 2 people start working together and they go in with the best of intentions, and then they realize that they don't share the same vision, and that's.
You didn't run a test on your partner, no personality test, or you didn't run one on you?
It could probably both ways. You know, the reality is that you just really never know until you start working with someone what the situation will be. And, you know, I counsel entrepreneurs all the time to spend an inordinate amount of time testing and working with someone before jumping, you know, full bolt. And we did that, right? So we did a lot of the right things. But the other thing that people forget is that once the engine starts running, I mean, it's a roller coaster. There are days that are the best days ever, followed by days that are the darkest ever. Yep. And you know, no matter how much you test a relationship, when you're in the pits of despair.
You know what it's like? It's like when you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend and you go to Hawaii on vacation. It's like, if you're not getting along in Hawaii or Paris and you're fighting, you're never going to get along. You're in one of the greatest, most romantic places in the world and you're fighting. Really? I know I had a girlfriend once and it was just like, she wasn't happy in Paris or Hawaii or whatever. I can't remember where we went on vacation.
Well, if she's not happy in Paris, she's especially not going to be happy when you're fighting in the kitchen of your one-room apartment.
Like, right? Yeah, like, I mean, if you can't handle this magical world of vacation, we're going to have a major problem. But it's also part of the reason why I have no partners and I'm a solo act. Like I do think that investing with a partner means you have to really have a level of trust and, ability to disagree that is going to slow you down to a certain extent. And for angel investing, you can't go slow. You got to go fast.
Yeah, it's super hard. I mean, I got to tell you, so it's, and there's logical divisions of labor when you work in a fund, right? So some people go out and fundraise, some people can go do other things. So we sort of fell into that I was doing most of the external fundraising, and he was focusing on doing a lot of the deals, and that in a weird way that drove us apart rather than bringing us together,
right? Because
we weren't working on the same things day to day, and these are all things that in hindsight, I've started 8 companies, created $2 billion of shareholder value before the Founder Institute.
Yeah.
I should know these things. I do know them.
What would you do differently? I mean, if you could go back, you turn the clock back, what would you do differently? What have you learned through having a fund that, let's face it, either is going to be shut down or imploded or, didn't work out?
It didn't work out. It actually has good returns, so knock on wood.
Yeah. You made a couple of solid investments.
And we actually had an exit.
Yeah.
Then more to come, hopefully.
Yeah.
So, I think the partnership suffered more than the actual execution. But yeah, I mean, the first thing that I would say, and this holds true for every entrepreneur in the world today, it's like, no matter how good you think you are at whatever, I'm the best programmer, I'm the best entrepreneur, I'm the best
salesperson.
You're going to square zero, not even one.
Hey everybody, let me take a moment to tell you all about Braintree, which many of my startups are using. You're going to outgrow your local market at some point, and you're going to want to set your sights on the global market. And here are 3 very important tips for you to scale your business around the world. Number 1, you want to create a great customer experience. And that means you want to design something that's intuitive and well-designed for local individuals, and that's going to pay dividends once you expand globally. And 2, you want to accept local currencies, obviously, because it's a simple way to increase conversion rates when people are checking out. If you accept their local currency, the chances of them buying from you is going to greatly increase. And once your biz is ready, you want to set up a domicile, and that's going to offer, once you get your bank account and an office in countries, great business and tax advantages. It can also lower your interchange rates and let you deposit transactions into the local currency. Braintree is a payment platform that allows you to easily accept currency in over 130 countries, 130 currencies, in fact. Also, it's a seamless checkout that helps every customer experience be painless. To learn more, go visit braintreepayments.com/twist, braintreepayments.com/twist. A ton of my startups use it, and it's absolutely magical. You can accept Bitcoin, you can accept Apple Pay, you can accept everything. And it just works, and it's very easy. Just a little snippet of code, you put it in, and you're off to the races. And of course, majority of my startups eventually wind up making more money outside the U.S. than they do inside the U.S. because there's many more countries and many more people living outside the U.S. than inside the U.S. So when you're ready to scale and you've outgrown your local market, you want to use Braintree. Go ahead and follow @Braintree and thank them on Twitter @Braintree. And to learn more, visit braintreepayments.com/twist, braintreepayments.com/twist. Okay, let's get back to this amazing episode.